Good morning. I'm going to show you how to stuff mushrooms in the best way ever. I have here some very big mushrooms. First step is I wash them. Normally they tell you shouldn't wash mushrooms because they absorb water and they become soggy. If the mushrooms is fresh, mushroom is 90% water. So if it's fresh, then it can't absorb more than it can handle. So it's gonna be okay. Unless if your mushrooms are not fresh, then they will become soggy. But as long as your mushrooms are fresh, you can wash them. And for me, just brushing the dust out of them is not good enough. Anyways, what I'm gonna do, the first step is just hold the mushroom like that after washing it, and I wiggle the middle a little bit and I poke it out, and those are the ones that we're gonna make the stuffing out of. Now I have a hollow mushroom, just as you see, and those I'm gonna put in a pan upside down and roast them a little bit for them to shrink as much as possible, because they will shrink normally when you cook them. And if you fill them as raw, the filling is gonna be overflowing and it's not gonna continue to be beautiful and nice. So, and one extra reason, because when I put them upside down and put them in the oven a little bit, roasting them, they will give out their water, and that juice, that water, I'm gonna add it into the filling. I have poked all of them. I put them in a pan, and now I'm gonna put this in the oven to roast a little bit so I can get the juices out, which I'm gonna be using to add on my stuffing to add some more depth and flavor. While this is happening, we will be start preparing the stuffing. I'm heating the oven. The pan with the mushrooms is gonna pop in. Meanwhile, I have a pan here, getting it hot to start my stuffing. All the buttons of the mushrooms, we will just chop coarsely. So I will add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the hot pan, and I will add to that the coarsely chopped mushroom bottoms. Into that, I'm gonna dice a shallot and add it in, as well as 1 clove of garlic. We will dice the shallot finely. Okay, this is the one part of the shallot. I'll do the other part. Mix and then add the garlic. I'm gonna also dice the garlic finely. You can also crush it, but I tend to like it diced in this recipe. Now into that, I will add a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'll let it just wilt a little bit further. Meanwhile, I'll chop a bunch of parsley, which will be added at the end, but I'm gonna have it ready. So it's about 1/3 of a cup chopped parsley. Into this mix, as soon as it's all tenderized, I will add 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs, and this I'm adding at this point because I want them to toast a little bit since the liquids of the mushrooms got absorbed and evaporated, and these couple of tablespoons are gonna absorb the liquids and fluids that we're gonna add into the filling to make it moist and delicious. And into that, I will also add a tablespoon of butter, the mushrooms absorbed the butter. I will add a couple of tablespoons, 2 to 3 tablespoons of dried sherry wine that will give this sweetness and depth into the flavors that we're looking for. There we go. And now into this, which has become immediately started boiling, I'm gonna add the cheese, and I will add it in little pieces so it gets melted much better. And I use the Crumbly Gorgonzola. I like that. Reduce the heat and let things just marry each other in the pan. And you will notice that things are starting to become more creamy in this mixture. And I'll bring the camera in so you can see better. We will continue to mix until all the cheese is absorbed and it becomes one texture. At this point, this became creamy. I will check the oven. The mushrooms, they roasted. And there is some liquid in the pan that I will add it to this mixture. It's really hard, so be careful. Okay, now into this, I turned it off. I will add 1/4 of a cup of pre-cooked rice. It's already cooked, and that is only to hold things together. I find it, and to have that extra texture. The crumbs, they will absorb the liquids. The rice is gonna give the softness and will get everything together. And also I add 1/2 cup of walnuts, chopped walnuts, and the parsley that I have already prepared. Mix it all, and now this, we will take a small spoon and just take each mushroom from the ones that are already roasted and fill it as much as you can possibly fill, mounting it at the top, just like this. Here are the stuffed mushrooms. Now those can be let to cool, and you can park it in the fridge until you need to eat it. You just pop it back into the oven until everything is bubbly and warm and melted together. But since I'm gonna be pairing it with some tomato soup that I'm gonna serve with this for dinner, I decided it's tomato season and I have some tomatoes from my garden, the small tomatoes. I will just add some tomatoes around the mushrooms in the pan, and when I put it back in the oven, those are gonna give out some juices and some sauciness into the dish as well. It's only gonna add another layer of flavor, and it will bind, you know, these stuffed mushrooms into the soup that I will be serving with. Just few around the pan. That's it. This morning I wanted to show you the pan that we have prepared yesterday and I parked in the fridge for today to bake. I just wanted to let you know that this is something that you can do in advance, especially if you have people coming over. It's a special recipe. It has so much richness and flavors to go with your best guests. So I'm heating the oven, 350, 370 degrees. I'm gonna bake it and I'll show you how it looks as soon as it's done. I am here taking this out of the oven. It took about half an hour, and here what you get. They surely taste delicious. Let me pour one for my husband who loves this recipe, and let's see what he says.
Smells good. Smells amazing.
Don't. It's hot.
Amazing flavor. Super intense. Nice, beautiful.
When it comes to cooking, textures are very important. In this simple stuffed mushroom recipe, you will find so many different textures within the same wholesome bite that you have. You have the creaminess of the cheese and the crunchiness of the walnuts, and also the texture of the rice that comes through as well. And of course, the king of the dish itself, the mushroom. Just amazing and awesome experience. Try it and you will really be happy with the results.